Hi, and welcome to Lines on Design. We have a fantastic show in store for you today. We are here with Kathleen Mayers, KPM Flooring, and we thought it would be, well, and I don't want to forget her lovely daughters are here to help us too. Honora is here, Caroline is here, and Emma is back behind the camera helping us too. So thank you for allowing your whole family to join us today. We wanted to talk today about flooring. I honestly believe, and you kind of taught me this, that if you have a home where you're building a home, it needs to start from the floor up. The floor is a wonderful place to start, to set that foundation, and it anchors your home.
Absolutely.
See, I've learned from you,
Yeah.
absolutely. What we thought about today is we're going to do two segments. First one, we're going to talk about all the different kinds of flooring there are, everything from carpet to wood, etc. We're going to talk a bit about classics, and then we're going to talk about some things that are trending. Our second segment is going to be something that's near and dear to you and you're passionate about, and those are rugs, soft ways to cover floors. So I'm excited about that. Give me a general overview about flooring, just to get us started.
The trend certainly these days is hard surfaces in as many spots as possible. We're seeing hard surfaces in bedrooms these days.
Okay.
More often than not, at a minimum, your hard surface goes into your master bedroom. Guest bedrooms, sometimes you and I were just speaking of a project that the whole house is hardwood, you know?
Why is that a trend now?
A number of different reasons. I think it's people have an issue with allergies, and in terms of health issues, it's a much cleaner surface to work with. There's some misconceptions about carpet. Carpet isn't necessarily allergy prone, but if you let your carpet get dusty, dirty, then it becomes an issue for allergies. The carpet in and of itself is not something that prompts your allergies, but it can if it's not maintained properly.
Okay.
I think it's a look. It gives you almost a blank slate to work with that you can then decorate around.
True.
Or perhaps carpet makes too much of a statement. You could take a really neutral tile like this, which is travertine, and probably the most classic stone that everyone knows, and you can make it anything. I tell people all the time, think of it like a good pair of khaki pants.
Oh, I love that.
If you wanted to wear a blue shirt with it, you're good. A white shirt goes with it. A yellow shirt goes with it. It's a really neutral color palette that you can make any statement by mixing a paint color or changing a bath towel or a linen on a bed.
I loved what you said when we were talking about Flora's foundation. You said you can always, would you say you can always
mix a paint color?
Yeah, you can mix a paint color, but this really is important. So travertine is still, especially here in the low country, something that's very popular.
Absolutely.
From a maintenance standpoint.
As long as you maintain it and you keep it sealed, you'll have no issues with it. You have to make sure you use the appropriate cleaners that don't strip off your sealer that you've applied.
Okay.
But if you think about the oldest residences in Italy, they'll have stone.
True.
So it's just a function of maintaining it properly.
Are there any configurations, is what I'm trying to get at, or any sizes or shapes that you're noticing now are trending?
Yeah, I would say rectangles are much more popular.
Okay.
And what's nice about stone is you have tremendous flexibility. I worked with a client the other day who really wanted rectangles, but the stone she chose did not come in a rectangle, so we're cutting it.
Oh.
You don't always have that luxury with a porcelain or a ceramic tile, but a stone you can cut into any shape or size that you want.
Now, when we're talking about stone like this, do you find that there's a continuity of stone throughout homes now, or whatever treatment there is, or do people say, I'd like stone in my entryway and then I want to move into wood, and then are you doing a lot of mix and matches?
If a home is stone throughout, we tend to see it to be more constant.
Okay.
If the people have chosen to do wood floors, then it's very common to make a statement in each of the bathrooms.
Oh, cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense, actually.
Sometimes I worry that if people choose a stone and then change it multiple times, it almost looks like you did an addition or you ran out of something. And there's a visual effect by keeping something constant. It makes your eye flow to the back, and it makes the space seem larger.
One of the things that I feel really strongly about is hiring a professional to do things. I can go anywhere and get a stone.
Absolutely.
But I think for me, based on my experience with you, what sets you apart and sets a professional apart is the fact that not only do you advise me on the product itself, but you can actually guide me from a design point of view. I don't always have to be the expert.
Sure, and I think with stone, it's really important to deal with an expert because there are soup to nuts qualities of stone. You can go in and think, well, this is a fabulous price for travertine, I'm getting such a good deal, and within 6 months, you have potholes all in your tile from
Okay.
where the filler has popped out. So it's not just about what you've paid for it, you know, oh, I got a really good deal, but it's about, is it a quality that's going to hold up?
And I've always heard installation can make or break any kind of
Absolutely.
product.
Absolutely.
All right, we've talked about a hard surface. Just for fun now, do you want to talk about wood?
Sure.
All right.
Emma, you want to pass me some samples?
Okay, Emma, you have to smile for the camera because she's 14 and adorable. She's going to be a
So-
famous novelist, by the way. Just saying.
Don't bump me in there.
Okay, wood is something that I view as very classic, but this is not your grandmother's wood.
Correct. When I started in this business, all we put in, and I won't say how long ago that was,
Yeah,
all we
I
put
know
in
exactly how long it
was 3-inch wide oak. That's
Okay.
hardly all, that's just about all you ever saw. So if somebody comes in and has a renovation and wants to add to their 3-inch wide oak, I know in my mind how old their house is. We very rarely see narrow plank anymore. Everything is wide, wider.
Okay.
On top of wide, wider, most of what we're seeing is somewhat distressed.
All right.
It has some undulation to it.
Undulation meaning,
Yep.
Okay.
Or it's actually been scraped heavily, so you can see it's very distressed. From a practicality
Pretty.
standpoint, if you damage it a little bit, really easy fix. You can just rub a little stain in there and it looks like more of the same over time. So for a commercial application, it's really practical because it can get beat up and just looks like
Yes.
it's, you know, got
It's
more character.
weathered, right,
got
it's
more
weathered
character,
beautifully,
like
exactly.
us over time.
I like that.
And then the other thing that we're seeing is either finishes that replicate an oil finish or are an oil finish.
Okay.
Very flat. Once again, that's something that a long time ago was really popular. And has now come back. The difference being is the maintenance. You literally used to have to take a buffer and wax it, you know, and that's
Okay.
how you maintain it. Now it's a liquid cleaner that you put on with a mop head, and it's very easy to maintain.
I was going to ask you about wood and maintenance and wood in the low country, because I think there are misconceptions that you can't really have a wood product because of all the humidity.
Absolutely. What we recommend for most of our clients is an engineered hardwood floor. What that means is the layers of the hardwood have been taken and they're turned cross-grained to one another to make the wood. Wood only expands and contracts in the direction of the rings of the trees, so by turning them cross-grained to one another, you inhibit the amount of expansion and contraction you can get in the hardwood floor. The top surface is real wood. I mean, I have people come in and say, oh, I don't want that, it's not real wood. It's absolutely real wood. It's a practical real wood. Your house is not built from solid pieces of boards.
No.
It's built from plywood because
Correct.
plywood is stronger. It's
Right.
a better product. So most products these days that are good have a pretty thick wear layer, so you can refinish them if you need to. The durability is the same, but
Okay.
you don't have the issues with the warping and cupping that you can get with a solid when we have our 98% humidity summers, or where we really see it happen is people who are not full-time residents, who are snowbirds, and go home in the summers because it's too hot and they don't quite crank their air conditioner to where it needs to be, and that humidity builds up in their houses. Then they come back in the fall and they're like, what happened to my floor?
Exactly.
You know, that humidity rests in the solid hardwood floor and that wood expands and then it has no place to go, so it creeps up at the joints.
Well, let me ask you then, practical to put it in bathrooms or wet areas, or
I think, yeah, in the right application and understanding the product, I wouldn't put it in a child's bathroom that's going to be
Right.
splashing in a tub with tub toys and gets
All
out
that
soaking
jazz.
wet and you have
Right.
a pool of water there, as happens in my house.
Right.
But, you know, we put it in master bathrooms. We certainly put it in guest bathrooms, powder rooms. I've done it in laundry rooms, you know, and they put the pans that
Yes.
catch the water underneath the washing
oh,
machine.
smart.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's a very livable surface these days.
What's interesting to me, though, also talking about the wood, is again not the old wood that you think of. These have four completely different feels.
Correct.
Are you doing a lot of mixing and matching with contemporary, wood in transitional?
Yeah, I mean, we see less grain is more popular, you know, away from the oaks.
Okay.
People think it's a cleaner and certainly more transitional look if it's
Yes.
not very grainy. People think grainy, oh, maybe that's a little too rustic, maybe a little
Okay.
too country for me. So people are going for something that has a less grain, like a white oak or something
Mm-hmm.
that's been stained dark, a birch, you know, that has very little graining to it. Or they go the exact opposite.
Opposite.
And want it to, and there's like no in between. You
Right.
either want really grainy
either
or you
is-
want it to be nondescript.
Well, you know, I see you at every market we go to. So from keeping up with the furniture trends and color trends and flooring trends, do floors set the tone typically? I mean, do you see floors working around furnishings, or which comes first, chicken or the egg?
I mean, I think your floors definitely make a statement, and you can choose it to make a minimal statement by going something, you know, that's nondescript, like a light colored travertine or a white marble, or you can really punch it up and make a statement. I think they're beautiful wood floors that you walk in and you go, wow, look at that, it's just amazing.
I know, because we're short on time, we have to show some of these. I thought they were wood, but I was told that no, they are pretty cool new products.
They're pretty loud.
Look at this. Loud, cool new products.
And the counterpart to that, these are porcelain tiles made to look like wood. Very popular, which when you install these, you can butt them pretty tight, but you're still going to have a little bit of a grout line.
Got it.
What we're also doing quite a bit of, especially commercially, is what's called luxury vinyl tile. And it's made to look like wood, and it's really durable. We just put 6,000 feet of it at a new restaurant on the island. We have one restaurant group that is ripping out all their carpet and going to this. I mean, commercially, it's great for the restaurants, but maybe not so great for my business because it's going to last. It's really going to last.
I like it.
You can wet mop it, which happens a lot, you know, in restaurants, or for you, if it's a bathroom and you've got kids and you're worried about the water, it's another practical application. We're doing it quite a bit for people who have high-end rental properties on the waterfront. They don't want the wood because they're afraid the renters aren't going to take care of it. They're worried about the tile being unforgiving or cold.
Correct.
So then we go here.
Wow.
And it can look like just about anything I can sell you in wood. The one that I just did, the 6,000 square feet of, was blue.
Was it really?
It's like antique blue. Yep. It's beautiful down.
Oh my gosh. And then real quickly, let's talk for just a couple seconds about some of these decorative tiles.
Sure.
We hope we've given you enough information just to get you in to say hi to Kathleen, because she is a wealth of information.
So we do a ton of mosaics, either as accents or feature walls in bathrooms, backsplashes. A number of these products are totally customizable. You can come and make it your color, your size, your shape. This is made to look like sea glass. This is a new introduction. I think it's beautiful. These are great combinations if you're doing a marble.
A marble.
And you want it to have some type of accent, whether it be around your fireplace or in, you know, once again, your backsplash, or in your bathroom. This could be your shower floor. This could be your shower walls.
Fun. As if that's not enough to talk about, we're going to take a quick break and come back here on Lynes on Design with our girls and our crew here, and we're going to talk about rugs, which really can be the icing on the cake. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on Lynes on Design. We are back here on Lynes on Design. Once again, we're with Kathleen Mayers and her entourage here of 3 beautiful daughters who are helping quite a bit and, quite frankly, are pretty knowledgeable about this business. Obviously, they've been raised in this. In the previous segment, we talked about a lot of hard surfaces and how creating an anchor or a foundation in flooring is really critical to get a good, beautiful home that looks like yourself. Now we're going to talk about the icing on the cake, and this is really fun. And you love rugs.
I absolutely do.
Talk us through rugs, because I think for a lot of people, quite frankly, they can be very intimidating and overwhelming, number one. I think many of us are confused as to what size is appropriate for the space. So I kind of want to talk to you about the rules of the road when it comes to rugs. Can we do an overview of that first?
Sure. I mean, I think rugs these days can be soup to nuts in terms of what you want. We have really inexpensive rugs that are very practical. We have rugs that can be the ultimate statement piece. It just depends on what you want to do, and I think that's one thing that our staff is good at, about listening to what you... Not necessarily what you are asking for, if that makes sense, but listening to what you're saying about your lifestyle, what you're saying about what you want to spend, what you're expecting to get out of the rug. You know, I don't really need it to last very long, just because I know my renters are going to destroy it, but I need something that's going to cover the floor for now. You know, we have that too. Or the homeowner who comes in and says, you know, I'm building this 6,000 square foot house. I'm reinventing myself since I'm moving to the south. I did traditional up north, and now I want a different look. You know, help me find it. And we do a really good job. You know, I would like to pat myself on the back of working with clients and designers in terms of finding the right pieces to make a home flow and blend and hit the budget that you need, but make the statement that you want.
I've heard about layering. I know from a design point of view, there's a lot of layering going on. So it's different rugs over different flooring, which I think is great. Yeah, show us some pieces and what that really means and looks like.
Well, sometimes we can do a couple different things. I mean, once you've created your canvas of your flooring, whether it be a stone or a wood floor, then you come in and you say, what kind of statement do I want to make in this room? Natural fibers are still very popular.
See, I love them.
This is seagrass. We actually have seagrass on our showroom floor. It holds up. It is the most cleanable of all the natural fibers and the least expensive of all the natural fibers. It comes as is. One of the reasons why it's cleanable is it doesn't hold a dye. It doesn't hold moisture, so you can't really get it different colors. So it's just like one type of grass. Then you have another type of grass. You have sisal or coir. Those can be stained. Those can...
Still love them.
Yeah, those can look lots of different ways. Some people choose just to do this. This is their rug, and they're fine with that. But right now, what we're seeing quite a bit of is large sisal rug, and then you take your area rug and put it on top of it and make, you could put on a diagonal or do something really different with it, however you want. But you can cover the space with the sisal rug and then define it with, a statement piece.
Originally, what were rugs? Were they simply to warm up a cold floor? I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Or were they decorative? Or
I think a combination of both. I mean, I grew up on Tybee, and we had probably asbestos tile floors in the house that I grew up in, and we had one rug for the winter and a different rug for the summer. We rolled them up. We had a sisally kind of jute thing for the summers because it was cooler and it breathed, and then in the winters we had a warm thing that we could curl up on and watch TV. So I think that their initial purpose for a lot of people was function. But then you think about rugs that are, hundreds, thousands of years old, decorative pieces made in Persia. Those were definitely statements, and sometimes they were a statement of
culture.
Of a tribe or a culture. Patterns in rugs have names, and typically the traditional names are regions from which they came. So many, many years ago, if you said this was a certain pattern, you would know where it was made. With the world changing the way it is and displacement of certain peoples, you can't always say because it's this pattern it came from this region, but that's the origin of a lot of the rug patterns.
Let's talk about this particular kind of genre or group of rugs that you're showing us, because it's really fascinating.
Well, we have 3 different kind of looks here, and what's interesting about this one is this rug, if I turn this way, and this rug are the exact same rug. If you look at it closely, you can see how the pattern repeats itself.
I do, yes.
But this is the standard colorway, then this is a custom colorway I did for someone who came in and loved the pattern, but they were not her colors, so we custom colored it to that.
Now, custom scares me. Get over it, right?
Well, no,
but I think it's being educated, and that's one thing we found to be really interesting coming in to talk to you.
It's a process. So here's another project that's ongoing right now. This is what this pattern looks like in totality.
Okay.
And then you come in, and these aren't the palms for this one, but we work with palms, and we say, oh, these are the colors. I've even worked long distance with clients who said, I went to Sherwin-Williams, and the 3 colors I want in my rug are Sherwin-Williams, blah, 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 blah. So I go up to the Sherwin-Williams store, get the paint, get the paint cards, and come back and match up palms. We can take a paint color and match it if we don't have an exact palm. But, if this were your rug and you came back to me and said, whoa, the yellow came out too strong, we can change the yellow, we can tweak it, then they actually send us a rendering that looks textural, looks like a rug. It's very close to what the rug would look like. But even still, if you say, I'm not quite comfortable, then we can make an actual square of your rug so you can approve. I would tell you 98% of the people are satisfied with this, and I've never had anybody come back and say it doesn't look at all like what I expected it to. But I have had some customers who are more comfortable and wanted to have an
From a cost point of view, to go from a standard to a custom, I think this is really interesting.
It's very, very little. For most of my manufacturers, it's less than 10% to go up. Sometimes
and create your own.
Create your own. And when we say create your own, it can be your own size, your own shape, your own colors. None of that, it's not a tiered thing with shape makes one price, color makes another. No, once you go to custom, it's all one tier, one price, and you can do anything you want.
Well, let's talk a little bit about sizes. Are there typical ways that you like to lay out a rug within a specific room? For example, let's do a dining room.
Well, the general rule we use for a dining room is take your dining room table and you want to add 2 feet all the way around to the measurements of the dining room table to allow your chairs adequate distance to scoot back.
Got it.
So that when you scoot back, you're not half on, half off. Then when you go to scoot in, you don't catch the back of the rug with it. not all dining rooms will allow for that. So that's actually when a custom comes in
Okay.
really nice,
Oh.
because if a 9x12 won't fit the room, we could do a 9x11.
Got it.
You know, which isn't, you know, ideal, but we can make it work and make the space work. Now, lately, I've been doing 9x16s. I mean, it's crazy. Really big dining room tables for people. They're, you know, dining room tables tend not to get wider.
Right, they
just
get
tend to
longer. Good point.
And
Good
then
point.
rugs are symmetrical in terms of once you get bigger, you get wider too.
Okay.
So if your table accommodates 9 feet in width, you don't want to do a 12x15, because then all of
Right.
a sudden you have so much more on the sides and just a little bit on the ends.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
That's where custom is nice. But I was in New York at Market a year or so ago, and a prominent designer had written an article for the Times, and she wrote, and I think it's true, I've never had a client come back to me and say, oh, I regret that my rug is too big. She said, I've had customers who I've pushed to go to a bigger rug and they won't, and they come back to me and say, oh,
I wish I'd gotten.
I wish I'd gone bigger. You run the risk of a rug looking like a postage stamp if you put it too small in a room. People say, oh, my coffee table's this big, so I just need a little bit bigger than my coffee table. I would discourage that. I mean, we do creative things where we take newspaper and lay them out in the area so people can really visualize what the rug is going to look like, or we bring one out.
Oh, that's what I love about you. Many times I've come in and said, look, can I take these 3 rugs?
Yeah, I'll hoist them up on my shoulder and bring them out to you.
Exactly, because sometimes you need to see the rug in the space.
Absolutely.
You taught me that.
Yeah, I mean, and I say to people all the time, you may like the 6x9, but let me just bring a 9x12 that's not your pattern, but I think you need to see the difference between the two in the space so you can really make an educated decision in terms of, you know, what your space will allow.
My mantra is always, good art does not have to match your sofa. How do you feel about rugs? I want to hear this.
I would agree. I'm just laughing because I was just at Market, and the shoes that I had on, I was walking across a rug, and somebody said, your shoes match that rug exactly, and they did. So the vendor took a picture of me and my shoes on the rug because it matched exactly. No, I mean, I think rugs, to a certain extent, are a basis for what you're doing in the room, and I think they need to blend, but I'm not a matchy-matchy person.
Okay.
I think you know, there are chains out there, furniture stores, that you can get a whole living room group. You know what I mean? It seems so cookie cutter.
Okay.
I think rugs, you know, and decorative pillows too, are such an opportunity to make the space your own. Put your stamp on it. Make it. Somebody walks in the room and says, "Oh, I know Debbie by looking at this room."
Exactly. What do you now, as far as fabrics and materials? What are we looking at here? And are there different kinds of weaves? Or you know, we talked about the natural fibers.
Absolutely. So these 2 rugs are 100% wool.
Okay.
Underneath here, we have 2 rugs that are in 2 different qualities. 2 different
that's
weaves,
pretty.
And this is a combination of wool and silk, and this is a more transitional pattern versus these are a much more traditional pattern.
Okay, when we're talking about wool and silk, a wool is a rug that's fine for down here.
Absolutely, and so is silk. I mean, I wouldn't do a 100% silk rug in the entrance of a hotel.
Right.
But some of the oldest rugs on record are 100% silk rugs.
Okay, so they weather and age nicely.
But once again, there's lots of ways to go about it. You know, silk is more expensive. So if you came in and said, I really love the bling that the silk gives me, but I just can't spend that kind of money.
Right.
We can substitute viscose. So you get the shimmer, and it brings it down to the price point.
To the price point.
Then we have rugs that are very textural, made to look like an antique.
Yep. Let's see.
And then we have, you know,
this is Kathleen's way of saying, Emma,
please,
rug,
Emma,
please.
Emma gets that at home a lot.
Come on, Emma.
Come on.
It's great being an older kid, isn't it?
So these are actually rugs that are made out of a fiber called polypropylene.
Okay.
Super cleanable. Can actually go outside if you wanted it to. What I tell people, the limitation for outside here is we're wet and soggy a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll clean, but it'll just stay damp. So these we do more inside than outside, but they're fabulous price points. I mean, you can get a really big rug for $400.
See, that you can't beat it. So again, it's like anything else. It's time. It's knowing where to put your money.
Exactly.
Where to be more cost effective. Wow, this has been absolutely incredible. Kathleen Mayers, thank you for joining us. Once again, we're here at KPM, and we've learned today about flooring from the ground up. And it was absolutely fascinating what kind of opinions each of the young ladies here had today about what was important with their flooring. And rather than being nondescript about it, everybody was very concrete, which tells us something really important. Flooring is important when it comes to lifestyle, age, disabilities, all kinds of things. So I think what I've learned today is that it is critical. It is imperative to talk to a professional. There are a lot of options out there, a lot of price points available, don't you guys think? And to make sure that you always get the flooring that you want. I want to thank Kathleen and Caroline, Honora, and Miss Emma for joining us today. Thank you all for participating. We want to thank all of you for joining us here on Lines on Design. Have a wonderful week.